Hey y'all, I'm Macy Dot. I'm a singer songwriter from Austin, Texas, currently living in Nashville, Tennessee, and you're listening to Hank Jr. on Hank's podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Hank's Corner. You know who I am. I'm Hank Jr., part of Hank Jr. Productions, where I'm documenting life's moments through photography, videography, and, of course, podcasting. And that's right. If you're ever in the Tampa Bay area and need some photography, I am the affordable photographer along with videographer. Or if you happen to catch me up there in Nashville, you know that I can help you out. And, I'm so excited about today's episode of Hank's Corner because we got somebody that's from my home state of Texas, the Lone Star State. I'm so happy to be talking with Macy Dot. Macy, how are you doing today?
I am doing good, and I love it even more now that I know you're from Texas. That is so awesome. I love Texans, they are so close to my heart. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, definitely. And we're also proud people, aren't we? At least we've been told that. And yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, so
Definitely.
born and raised in Texas, spent some time away, came back to Texas, and now, of course, those that know me, I'm in a little corner in the Tampa Bay area, getting ready for retirement. So that's why I'm over here in Florida. But are
Love
you
it.
actually calling in from Texas, or where are you today?
I am in Nashville right now. I've been kind of all over the place, and I am calling in from Nashville today.
Yeah, Nashville's your new home, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, but you have roots back in Texas, and I believe a lot of it is in the Austin area.
Yeah, I grew up in Lindale, Texas, which is a really small town in East Texas. And right as I was about to go into high school, my family moved to Lake Travis, and that's where I graduated from high school. So I'm very familiar with the Austin area now. And I was just telling someone recently that it was really comforting to move from Austin to Nashville because they're very similar cities. And so I wasn't as homesick, and that was super comforting to me when I first moved to town.
Yeah, so why do you think Austin and Nashville are very similar?
Their downtown areas have a lot in comparison to each other. They're very similar. And then obviously the music scene. There is definitely a scene in Austin. It's a little more like indie rock. And I think it's not as country focused. And then obviously songwriters are a huge thing in Nashville, and writers' rounds are more popular here. But the downtown area of Austin and Nashville are pretty similar. So when I first moved, I was like, okay, this kind of feels like home. I could get used to this.
Yeah, definitely. And you talk about that music scene, and Austin definitely has a weird music scene. That's what they talk
Mhm.
about out there, and it is kind of interesting being the capital of Texas. And Texas is known for their dance halls and their specific style of country music. But yet, if you go to Austin, the capital, it is very different there, and
Right.
definitely interesting and that sort of thing. Now, how often do you get to go back to the Texas area?
I am there very often. I play a lot of shows in Texas. Um, I recently did a mini Texas tour, so I played all of the rodeos in Texas, Fort Worth, Austin, Houston, and then played at venues in those cities. So that was a lot of fun. And that was right after I graduated from Belmont in December. And I did that as kind of promotion for my latest single. And so, yeah, I'm in Texas pretty frequently. I just recorded an album there. And then the three singles that I have out, I recorded in Austin. So I definitely have a lot of ties to Texas, and I do spend a lot of time there. But I love the songwriting community in Nashville.
Yeah, definitely, and congratulations on that graduation from
Thank you.
Belmont. I followed you, for a couple, for a while now, and I've seen it's kind of interesting how many people I've seen over the years graduate from Belmont, and I know the singers and artists don't always have the same connection with me as I'm following them, but it's almost like watching one of my family members grow up and
Oh,
graduate. So good on that. But back to the Texas thing. When you do get back to the Texas thing, like what's one thing you specifically miss and either have to do or have to be a part of when you get back to Texas?
There's so many things I love about Texas. I love Green Hall. Green Hall is one of my favorite stops when I'm home, and I just love being a listener and attending a concert there. I have recently been talking to a lot of my friends in music, and I think we get so caught up in the job of being a musician that in our free time, we don't really want to go to a concert. And there there's kind of an internal battle that I have with that because it does sometimes feel like a job or, like a role. And it's hard to stay inspired by music when it's your full time job. So, something that I'm really working towards is like being a listener and being in the audience and like being inspired by hearing the stories of how people wrote songs and just finding that inspiration again has been something that has been on my heart recently. And obviously, being in Texas, there are so many amazing dance halls, and I attend a lot of them regularly when I'm there. So, Green Hall is definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, I definitely like the dance halls, and of course, you got the Billy Bob's up there in the Fort
Mhm.
Worth area. That's the well-known one, and of course, just all over Texas, you have that. And one of the things too that when you talk about the similarities between like Nashville and Texas, and it's not quite Nashville, but if you look on social media, you'll see a lot of artists when they're traveling will make that stop at Bucky's, and it's like a huge deal to film them or
Yeah.
take pictures of them at Bucky's. And of course, Texas is the one that started it. And the other thing that's big in Texas is Whataburger, which there is some in the Tennessee area, and we're going to get one back here in the Tampa Bay area within the
Oh,
next year.
man.
So we're excited about that. So there's definitely a lot of good
Yes.
stuff in Texas, but of course, my favorite is the Mexican food, and I love the Mexican food there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Another one is HEB. Did you ever go to an
Yes.
HEB while you were in Texas?
Yes. So
That
I
is one
love
of my
HB.
favorites.
Yeah. So one of the things that I like to do, and I don't know if you know Allison Asarch, but she was originally from Houston. She's out there in Nashville now, and she brought that up on my podcast way back when about HEB, and she was the first one to remember that. And I said yes because I remember on Saturday nights, for those that don't know what HEB is, it's basically a grocery store. And in some areas, they have a grocery store on steroids, what they call the HEB Plus and the Super HEBs and all that. And what they have is in the middle area, they'll have somebody that's cooking for you, and they'll get on one of those little microphones and they'll start talking about how they're making this, and they got the little recipes there for you and all the ingredients you'll need to be able to buy that. So I would go on a Saturday night, get a little bit of munchies. Oftentimes they would have alcohol samples too. I'd have a little bit of that, and that was to kick off my Saturday. Go out and have a good time. But I
I
learned a
love
lot
it.
of cooking recipes from HEB there. It was definitely great.
That's awesome. I love it.
Now let's get back to promoting a little bit more of you. We can talk about Texas all day, I guarantee that. But your
Definitely.
latest song came out was "Cowboy Wanted." Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, back to Texas, I wrote it with two Texas girls, Grace Tyler and Aniston Pate. And I wrote this song a few years ago with them, and it was sitting in my notes app in my phone for a long time. And I'd thrown it out in a few different rooms, and nobody was really excited about it. So I told them, I was like, hey, I really think this would be a good room for us to write this song in. And I just told them, like, here's my idea. The title would be Cowboy Wanted. And they're like, oh my gosh, like, we have to write that. And I remember it being a pretty quick write. And we kind of were all sitting around, like, oh my gosh, I think we have something here. So I really am just so proud of the song and honored to be a writer with those two lovely ladies.
Mm-hmm.
They're so talented. They're both artists, and you should definitely check out their music because they're amazing. And I am just so excited that the song is finally out.
Yeah, and one of the things that I like, of course, I like good music in general, but sometimes I really like the play on words. And when you get to a title, it says one thing, and you kind of expect a certain thing to come out of it, and then in your song, you talk about, well, I'm not what the cowboy wanted, and
Yeah,
I love that little switch there, and I think that's so
thank
cool
you.
how that came out. And let's go ahead and play "Cowboy Wanted" here on Hank's
Let's
Corner.
do it.
was hanging up posters in this town. Sign said, call this number if you found cowboy wanted. I'm needing something to saddle up and buckle down. It wasn't long before he gave me a ring. Said, darling, I heard you were looking for me. I need a good wife, think you could be mine, and put some babies in a double wide. But I'm more. Catch me if you can, then wait at home. Honey, I'm the queen of every rodeo. I kick the dust up, you went running. Guess I ain't what that cowboy wanted. I was looking for a taste of the Wild West. He was looking for an angel in her Sunday best, sitting front pew like she's supposed to, praying for her sins so he don't have to. But I'm more. Catch me if you can, then wait at home. Honey, I'm the queen of every rodeo. I kick the dust up, you ain't running. Guess I ain't what that cowboy wanted.
Welcome back to Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr. here with my special guest, Macy Dot. And you just heard Cowboy Wanted, her latest release. And, of course, this was listed on my New Music Friday post when it came out. And, be sure to be checking that out on my Hank Jr. Productions Facebook page. You'll find every Friday where I will list, as many of them as I can. Sometimes it gets into 30, 40 songs. I can't believe how many sometimes come out a week. But I put up all the artists' new music and, try to promote that. So be sure to check that out. And, everybody that I put on there, be sure to follow. And of course, if you're not already, please follow Macy Dot. And, we'll talk a little bit more about your socials and merchandise towards the end. But the second section, we definitely want to find out a little bit more about you. And I love the way I start this, and the people at home like it too, because they like to play along with a little game that we call Two Truths and a Lie. And if you're interested in playing, here's how it goes. You're going to give me three statements, two of them being true, one of them being false, in any order. And then I'll try not to ask specific questions to give it completely away. But by the end of the podcast, I'm going to need to guess which ones are the truth and which one is the lie. So are you interested in playing, Macy?
I definitely am.
Let's do it. Give me three statements.
All right, number one, I opened for Casey Musgraves in Mississippi. Number two, I've met Reba McEntire. Number three, Dolly Parton wrote me a message of encouragement for my career.
All right, that's all pretty good. And this particular time, I'm kind of wishing all three of them were true because that would be great. But I needed to decide from whether or not you opened for Casey Musgraves, and where did you say it was?
A small venue named Roberts, Mississippi.
In Mississippi, that you met Reba McEntire, or that Dolly wrote you a message encouraging you for your music career. Like I said, I hope all
Yes.
three is good, and I know for sure that you are a fan of Casey Musgraves, and we'll talk about a little bit about your connection there with that. But yeah, it's gonna be a little bit tough to figure this out, but I will do my best by the end. And so I want to know, starting from the time you were 2 years old and the first time that you're singing the national anthem out there in public, how did you get from that to where you are now? And before you even start, is there any video footage of you singing that national anthem?
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is a video somewhere. And do you want to hear it? Probably not. It probably does not sound great. Um, but I sang the national anthem for the first time when I was 2 at a community event, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cute and so patriotic." And that kind of became my thing. And then when I was around 10, I started taking guitar lessons from John DeFore, and he taught Casey Musgraves and Miranda Lambert. And he really encouraged me to start writing songs and to write songs as an art of storytelling and being authentic and being genuine in your writing. And I was writing songs before I started working with him. Like my parents were both in education when I was younger, and bedtime was a very strict thing at my house. And my parents would put me to bed pretty early, and then they would see my light come on a little later than I should have been awake. And they would come down there and they'd be like, "Macy, why are you still awake?" And I would say, "I just have this really great song idea in my head that I need to get out." So that songwriting has always been a passion of mine and something that I've really enjoyed. But John helped me develop a true talent for it, and I'm so grateful for him and just his influence on my career. And then I started taking piano lessons, and then I started taking vocal lessons. So it kind of just evolved, and I had so many amazing mentors throughout my career that I'm really grateful for. But music has always been a huge passion of mine.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, starting at the age of 2, and I hear a lot of that, some of the artists that are on here will say that they started very young, singing in the back of the car or singing on a hairbrush. But the national anthem, I mean, that is a hard song to sing, and there's a lot of words. So, how well did you do as far as, getting all the words right at 2 years old?
I don't think I ever messed up the words. I probably didn't sound great a few times, but I never forgot the words. And my parents always had me practicing in the car, after school, on the way to school, at home. Like I would put on a show for them probably every night. So the national anthem was a well rehearsed song of mine.
Yeah, well, congratulations on that. Like I said, it's a hard song to sing, and it is one though that a lot of artists will use to get known because if they can get into a venue, whether it's a big sports arena or whatever, and a lot of people may not know the artist at that time, but of course, a lot of times they'll put the name on the bottom of the screen who's singing it, and then there you
Mhm.
go. That helps you to move people over to your song, and since that
Yeah.
time where has been, besides that first time, one of your favorite places to sing the national anthem?
I really don't sing it a whole lot anymore because it's a really hard song to sing, and it's kind of a moment like everyone is dead silent listening to you, and I I get I'm kind of intimidated singing that song because I understand the importance of it, and I understand that there are people out there fighting for us to have freedom, and I get nervous singing it, and that's one of the only times that I get nervous is singing the national anthem. I'm trying to think. I've sang it at a ton of rodeos when I was little, baseball games. Um, I sang okay, one time I sang it at I was probably 4 or 5, so I don't remember it very well, but my I'm named after my great-grandmother, Dot. Her name was Dorothy, and they called her Dot. And her husband, Doc, they did a rodeo honoring his life, and I sang the national anthem at that rodeo, and I remember feeling not really understanding, that he had passed and all of these people were there to honor him, but I remember singing the national anthem and feeling the weight of all of that emotion. And I was really, really young at the time, but I just remember that being a really special performance for me.
Yeah, that's definitely got to be something of major significance there. And you are
Mhm.
right; it is a special song, and I'm glad that you got to do that in honor of him. And you talked a little bit about your songwriting. So we go back to 2 as far as the national anthem. But when did you start writing actual songs? And do you remember the first song that you wrote?
Well, like I said, when I started working with John, he I had to write a song every single week. I had to write a new song every week when I started working with him, and yeah, I remember them. They're pretty bad, and there's some songs in there that I'm like, oh my gosh, we got to keep that in the vault for as long as we can because that cannot be heard. But I do think that you have to write a lot of songs to get one that you're proud of. And so I'm forever grateful for him for encouraging me and listening through those horrific songs to give me advice and just encouraging me to keep going and because I think it's I I also mentor young songwriters and I try to help them understand that you can write about whatever you're going through. Like, and I think they're young enough to be like, well, I just go to school all day. And I'm like, well, write about the emotion that you're feeling when you see someone get their feelings hurt, or, and take that to a whole nother level and just describe the emotion that you're feeling. So, John definitely helped me be genuine in my storytelling through songwriting. But yeah, the first few were not great.
Yeah, well, that's good for John to, push you through that and give you that
Mhm.
experience. It's great to have mentors like that. And,
Yeah.
the fact that you're turning around and being a mentor, that's awesome. And do you feel any weight of being a mentor, or do you find that, hey, it's just a bunch of really, when it comes down to it, songwriters, and we're just
Mhm.
having a good time?
It has really inspired me. Um, it makes me remember why I fell in love with songwriting in the beginning and my urge to always write a song in my free time and to write down the ideas in a paper journal and it's helped me remember my younger self and her desire to write songs. But I mean there is a lot of pressure because I want them to love it and I want them to understand that these songs that they're writing have the ability to change lives. And at the same time, it's an art and it's something you should enjoy doing and they're young and I want them to love writing songs, but there's also so much power in writing songs and telling a story.
Yeah, definitely. And another great Texas, yeah, young artist out there. I think, well, she's still a teenager right now, and Peyton Riley out there is
Yeah.
doing a great job, and that's what she's doing too. She's got these little clinics going on,
Mhm.
with the songwriting, and I think that's just so awesome that ladies like you are doing that and giving back. That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Well, I want to go ahead and play Texas, Tennessee, another one of your good songs, and when we'll come back, we'll have some more fun.
Hey, Texas, your mark is on my heart right where you left it. You'll be right here no matter where I'm headed. My roots run deep in this ground. I'm leaving for a little big town that's made just for dreaming. I've got one that you helped me believe in. Texas, Tennessee is where I've gotta be right now. But you know a piece of me will stay in that little town. You've got my heart, but the other's everything I wanna know. Texas, Tennessee, goodbye, hello. Goodbye,
And that was Texas, Tennessee by my special guest, Macy Dot. Of course, I'm Hank Jr. This is Hank's Corner. We're having a good time talking with my fellow Texan who is now in Tennessee. And, what a great song to kind of sum that up right there. Texas, Tennessee, two words says it all. But, when you talk about Nashville, one of the things that I've noticed, and I kind of get the hint from you, is that Nashville, despite the fact that you're all competing really for contracts or getting your music played or whatever it may be, it's not really a competition. You guys all kind of work together, and it's been described to me as a family. Do you agree with that assessment?
I just did an Instagram live today and this question was asked. And when I first got to Belmont, I remember sitting in a classroom next to a complete stranger I'd never met. And we started talking, and he said, "Hey, will you listen to this song that I just recorded?" And I said, "Of course." So I listened to it and I said, "Did you write that?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Who recorded that?" He said, "I did." And I said, "Who played on it?" He said, "I did." And I was just in awe. Like, there are so many talented people here. And he recorded the whole song, wrote the whole song by himself, played all the instruments on it, and then proceeded to market the entire song and release it on his own. And I just remember thinking, like, how many people do you interact with on a daily basis that have the same amount of talent as, this guy that I'm sitting to in class that I've never met before? And people ask me a lot. When I first moved here, especially, they were like, "Is it really competitive?" And I haven't had any experience with that because I think this town would not be what it is without collaboration. I think collaboration is what keeps this town alive. And there's just so many talented people here. And I think you do have to work together. And, you know, maybe you're in a room with someone who writes great hooks, or maybe there's another person in the room that has great melodies. And I think all of those things together create great music and the music that you hear on the radio and on Spotify. And I just think there is such an important factor of collaboration here. And I love that about Nashville.
Yeah, and you make the point that, it's kind of like a team, a sports team, for instance, where, you need multiple people that are good at this position or that position to come all together. And that's helpful. And the music industry is definitely different than the photography, videography industry because, one thing about the music industry is that if you sell a song, the person next to you can also sell a song and it can say to the same person and it doesn't affect anything. As a photographer, it's like if somebody picks a photographer, then another photographer is out. Like they can't do their business. And it's totally different from that kind of world. And sometimes, when I hear you guys talk about it, I'm like, man, I kind of wish that I was part of that family as a music artist. Now I get to be part of the family in a different way and I enjoy that. But some of the things that you get to experience is just definitely great.
Yeah, and we need people like you. Like, I just hosted an event for to celebrate the release of Cowboy Wanted, and in addition to that, we did a give back event for Tennessee Alliance for Kids. And I was just feeling the weight of having to be the songwriter, the singer, the artist, the content creator, the event planner. All of the roles that we play as independent musicians was. I was feeling a lot of pressure from it. And so a few of my friends were like, "Macy, I think you should just have someone come do photos and videos." Because, I mean, think about this. If you don't post about something you're doing, people don't know that you're doing it. Like, social media is your resume and your portfolio, and there's so much importance in your social, your social life online. And so I asked a few friends, like, hey, if you know anyone, will you ask them if they're open to come shoot this event? And I truly could not have done it without them. I wouldn't have had time to take pictures and film content and do all of the things. So we definitely need people like you. I need you to move here, actually, is what I'm saying, because
Uh,
there are
let
just
me
so
let me
many
play that to let me
opportunities.
yeah, let me play that to my wife a couple of times because
Yeah.
I've been telling her that, and I definitely would like a second home if I was ever rich enough to be there in Nashville. But unlike other people, and I'm not saying all photographers are this way, but there is a lot through there. But unlike other people, I'd love to plug other photographers. So tell me, who was there that was doing the work for you?
So his name's Patty, and he does concert photography. So this was very different for him. And it was different for me. I've never planned an event at a store and had all the vendors come in. And then I had Shane McNeil, who took the cover art for Cowboy Wanted. He was there as well. So we had two people trying to get, videos and photos and all of that good stuff. And I had another friend there. I cannot remember the name of his account though. I'll have to message you, and you can plug his information as well, because he did some amazing videos. We actually just met like 2 days before the event. He sent me a message. So I'll have to share his username with you as well. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it definitely took a team to get all of the content from the whole night. So I'm really grateful for them.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I'm never afraid to promote other photographers and videographers. And I will say that Nashville does have some great talent that I promoted out there. Some great people with good eyes, and whether it's just doing the cover arts or the concerts. I've seen some great stuff, and let's keep that going. And me, one of the things is, of course, I lead in with I document life's moments, so my stuff is going to be natural, and I'm always going to push that, and I'm always going to be for the photographers that are not necessarily using too much AI or too much editing. Just to see their skill do that. It's like watching a music artist that can bring out those raw emotions on pen and paper and then put it into music. So that's great. Now I stalled a little bit trying to talk a little bit about you, but I got to get back to these two truths and a lie. And so you told me earlier that you opened for Casey Musgraves in Mississippi, that you met Reba, and that Dolly wrote you a message of encouragement. And I said, I hope they're all true. And I can't do that because that's not how this game goes. So you are lying to me in one of these statements, and I know that you had that connection with Casey Musgraves through John. Um, so I would be kind of leaning towards that might be the truth. Um, I hope that you met Reba. That's one of the people that I have not gotten to meet. I've seen her in concert a few times, but haven't been lucky. And I'm just going to say that Dolly wrote you a message only because that might be the biggest accomplishment that's listed here. That's the lie. How did I do?
You're actually wrong.
Oh
I can't
no.
believe it. I can't
Okay.
believe it.
Tell me where
So,
I went wrong.
so I opened for Casey, but it was in Texas. So the
Oh,
lie was Mississippi. And I opened for her because of John. And his one rule was, if I'm gonna give you this opportunity, I was probably 11 at the time. And he said, my one rule is you have to play all original songs. So as an 11-year-old, I'm opening for Casey
wow.
Musgraves and I'm playing all original songs. And it was in Texas. It was in Mineola, Texas. So that was a really cool moment for me and something that I'm forever grateful for.
Yeah, so
Um,
you got real sneaky with that one. That's when the teacher tells you, now you need to make sure you read the whole question because it
yes.
has to be true all the way through. So you got me on the Mississippi part.
Yes, and then I have met Reba. She was so sweet and just as beautiful in person, like just stunning. And then when I won the BMI Dolly Parton Songwriters Award, Dolly wrote me a paragraph of encouragement, and it's something that I hold really close to my heart, and I look back on it when I need inspiration. So, but I can totally understand. I did kind of trick you on that first one.
That's okay. Sometimes it's okay to be tricky. Now you said that she, wrote you a message. Was this handwritten?
So it was in an article in Music Row magazine. When I received the award, they did an article about it, and you can look it up. I mean, it's public. It's online. I will I can send you the article too if you can't find it. But it's just like her well wishes to me for my career and the importance of songwriting, and I'm really grateful for that to look
Now,
back
did
on.
now since it's has to be in print, did you print it or cut it out and put it up on a frame wall somewhere?
I need to. I've always just thought, oh, nothing on the internet ever goes away. So every time I need to look at it, I just look that article up. But yeah, I should print it. Definitely should print it. I have a screenshot of it somewhere on my phone.
Oh, that's good. That's awesome. And to meet Reba, what a class act. Like I said, I've seen her a few times, and people ask me in return when I ask, who would you like to, be on stage with if you could. There's a couple of people that I would really love to interview. That's kind of big time, and of course, you can't get any bigger than Reba, and to have somebody like that caliber on my show would probably be. I'm gonna end it with that. I'm gonna retire, and that would be good enough for me. But we have a few moments left, and we're gonna, kind of do some popcorn questions here. I'll throw them at you, and we'll answer them pretty quickly. So, we already talked about food a little bit on the podcast, which is what I always have to do. But what is your comfort go-to food?
Tex-Mex, 100%.
Oh,
Like I
definitely.
will never not crave Mexican food ever. Like it is never a debate. If you ask me what do you want to get for dinner, it's always Mexican food every time.
All right. And, given the opportunity to play anywhere on any stage, I mean, usually the Grand Ole Opry is listed, but besides that, where would you like to play?
Does the Ryman count too? Maybe not that one. Like something else. Green Hall is on my list.
Okay, there we
Green
go.
Hall.
Green Hall would be there. And when you were little, what was like the one song that was always, your song, so to speak, and when that plays, it like takes you back to, when you were younger.
Oh, there are a few. I'll name three that I can think of
Sure, name
because
three.
I was just singing all the time. Delta Dawn was my big one. Walking After Midnight and Country When Country Wasn't Cool.
Oh, and I definitely love that one, and me being a little bit older, I kind of take that to heart because there was definitely a time there before the '90s country really started being popular, between the Johnny Cashes and all that in the '90s, where country just really wasn't as cool. You had the Urban Cowboy with that John Travolta who played that, and you had that little time period. But yeah, I take that one to heart, and I say I was country when it wasn't cool. Now, are you binge watching anything?
I really don't watch a whole lot of TV. Now, I will tell you when it's about time for Christmas, I am glued to the TV watching Hallmark movies, so I kind of save up all my TV time throughout the year until it's Christmas because I'm so obsessed with Christmas. I'm telling you right now, you've never met anyone that loves Christmas as much as I do. So, I kind of save up all my TV time year round until Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas is definitely great, and I'm kind of odd like this. So obviously there's things like Spotify where you can save your songs that are you can make lists, but I don't really make a bunch of lists. I just usually hit the like buttons, the song that I like by the artist, and I got a whole bunch of them, and a lot of them will be Christmas songs. And
Yeah.
throughout the year, as it's randomly playing, I will still listen to those Christmas songs in the
Yeah.
middle of summer. I don't care. I don't fast forward. So I kind of do the same, but I will save the movies till actually December.
Love it. I love it.
Now, I haven't actually gotten to see you live, and I hope so one day. Whether it's in Nashville, Texas, or maybe you can come down here to Florida, maybe even play at the Tiki Cove that I bring a lot of artists to. And so I don't have you up here on the wall, but if I were to come to a Macy Dot performance, what should I expect?
I will always ask if there are any people from Texas, and normally those are the rowdiest people in the crowd.
We are.
So you will feel right at home at a Macy Dot show. That question always cracks me up because I remember recently I played the listening room, and very rarely are there like only two Texans in the crowd. And I said, "Do we have any Texans here today?" And this one guy said like a really wimpy woo. And I said,
Mm.
you must not have been born there. And then everyone started cracking up. And I was like, we're pretty proud of our state. And I think he was just embarrassed, but everyone was laughing pretty hard. So, yeah, you would definitely need to expect to yell really loud when I say, do we have any Texans?
Yeah, well, you can guarantee that I can definitely do that, especially after a couple of beers or two. And
I love
you
it.
know, definitely want to see you out there and play, and that would be great. Once again, everybody, if you're not already doing this, I don't know why, but you should be. You need to follow Macy Dot there on social medias, and she's got a website, Macy Dot period.com. So don't get confused because it's MACYDOT.com. Macy Dot, please follow her. She does have some merchandise on there. I know you're very fond of your hats as well. That's one thing that she likes. So support the artist by doing that with the merchandise, because as I said before, a lot of the streaming platforms aren't really doing much for the artist. Be sure to do their merchandise. But Macy, it's been great talking to you here on Hank's Corner. If you ever want to be a guest on Hank's Corner, you're more than welcome to.
Thank you so much for having me. I had so much fun, and I will definitely let you know if I'm ever in your area.
I guess I like the rush, 'cause I'm never on time. I'm always putting on makeup at a red light. I say I'm on my way when I ain't even left the driveway. I live on coffee and a can of dry shampoo, my keys and my mind, two things I always lose, and I can't just sweep it under the rug like some people do. I've tried to dress it up, sit and smile pretty, all prim and proper, but who am I kidding? I can't walk in high heels, some days I'm just a wreck. So God bless this hot mess. My socks don't